Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe, like and comment.
Hello guys, welcome once again to another review of The Real House of Atlanta and also Married to Medicine Reunion Part 2. So the two shows aired my Real Housewives episode 4 and Married to Medicine Reunion Part 2. So how would you rate the two shows?
Um, oh my goodness. The reunion for Married to Medicine. I would have to give it maybe a 3.5. I'll give it 3.5. And that's only because of Dr. Damon. you know, and
Hmm.
let's see, Atlanta Housewives. I would have to give them. Oh goodness, there's just so much craziness going on. I give them a 4.
Okay.
What do you rate
For
it?
me, Um, I maybe because during this, I don't know whether you always check online during the week. I probably have gotten most of the clips of my to Metin during the week, so every wow factor left me. I don't know whether you understand what I mean. Like I'd already gotten to see a lot of sneak peek of the episode of the reunion part 2. So I think the only part that they didn't really release or we didn't get to see the sneak peek before the episode dropped was the Damon and Dr. G's conversation. Apart from that convo, I already knew about 75% of what was going to happen in the episode. So there was not really a big wow factor for me. I did all my wow during the week. But that aside, I will give the episode a probably 5.
Okay.
Then for RHOA, it didn't have anything of substance until we got to the end. And I think because that's what I've been waiting for since the season started. That is
Right.
the one thing I've been waiting for. So for me, I'll give it probably a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, a 3. So let's go ahead and jump in to talk about the shows. The first one I'm going to talk about is Married to Medicine. Now, we're now back in the part 2 of Married to Medicine. This reunion, man, I would say that it's mostly Quad, Sweetie, uh, Quad, Sweetie, Gregory, and King. Then
Simone.
Simone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simone. um that's what I will say about this thing. And before we go ahead, I want to say like Simone. I feel like she's doing everything she's doing because she still wants to come on the next season. She had nothing to offer in this season, literally nothing. Her and Jackie, I'm sorry to say, had absolutely nothing to offer except for being on our screen and going on the vacation, being on every party and every event. Apart from that, we had nothing from Simone and Jackie. And I think she's just being like this just to get herself back in the season of my to my team, my opinion only. So let's go ahead. We started with the conversation of Dr. Heavenly Contessa and last week we heard them talking about we know about the baby mama or the baby outside or something like that. So this week continued from there where Contessa and Heavenly continued their argument. How did you see the way both Heavenly and Contessa and Simone, the person that liked interjecting when it's not needed, handled that whole situation?
Well, I think Simone, excuse me, trying to interject.
Yeah.
Wow. Contessa and Heavenly are going through it.
Mm.
Like, I think Heavenly just says some really wrong stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, she's just not cool,
Yeah.
you know. And no matter what, if somebody comes to you as a friend and they're telling you their gripes and their grievances, like from girlfriend to girlfriend about what's hurting them in their marriage, why are you going to a podcast repeating everything? You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Because what, you need a material to talk about on your podcast? That's not cool. You know.
Mm.
So it was wrong for Heavenly to betray Contessa, and talk about her mom, and her marriage. But then you're gonna talk about her breasts on national television. Like, this
Yeah.
girl had issues and medical issues, with her breasts, but then you want to say something about how unnatural it looks, or you don't like the look of her, whatever she said to the contrary. That was just so wrong. But I commend Condessa simply because she kept her wits about her, and she told Heavenly, look,
Mm.
no matter what we're going through, I still love you. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm.
look beautiful, you know,
Yeah.
and that's a sign of a real woman, you know, even though when you're saying something derogatory towards them on national television, they can
Yeah.
still give you your roses, you know?
Mm. Yeah. Well, like you said, Heavenly says a lot of mean things on her YouTube channel. I do not agree with the things she says, but she says a lot of mean things on her YouTube channel, and it's upsetting. But Contessa also said things too on the show. Now, Heavenly is mean. She's on her YouTube channel. See, she's very mean. She goes in and out saying things that should not be said. But I also feel like, okay, because Contessa does not have a YouTube channel doesn't mean she doesn't also do the same thing. Because we saw her on this show, talked about Heavenly too in a certain way, talked about Heavenly's marriage too in a certain way, insinuated that Damon has a kid outside, a mixed child, not even a kid. She said mixed, allegedly. That's probably Damon hooked up with a white woman. Um, so that is also like, okay, you are saying, one thing I don't like is when you say somebody does something, then you go and do the same thing the person does. You're like, I don't know whether you get what I mean. I'm just trying to look for the words. Like, you call somebody a thief, then you go ahead and steal too, right? It doesn't make sense at all. So, and I feel like at this point, I feel like the both of them shouldn't have any friendship at all. And I think that what they should just have between them is being cordial. Let them just be cordial between the both of them.
Right.
Let them just have that. I think with them being cordial, it's gonna go far than anybody. And I don't want the ladies trying to force them to be friends. I don't understand this group and trying to force each other to be friends, but I don't believe in forcing someone to be a friend of somebody. If they can be cordial, it's good.
Right.
And I think they can work with being cordial. Like Heavenly and Fontessa can work with being in a cordial state than forcing them to be friends. And if they can keep that, that's nice. And
Hmm.
we got to see Mimi on stage finally. And she was beautiful. And I told you that her and Kwada close, didn't I? And they gave us like they let us know why like they became close, because I know that on social media I see them closer than with Quad and with Sweetie and Dr. Greg.
Okay.
And now let's go to the main thing. We had Damon and Greg. What for me, I just feel like, at the end of the day, they squashed it. This squashed whatever issue they had, they just like, let it go. But do you think that Gregory will let it go? And do you think Damon will let it go? And do you think that that issue between them was necessary, or like the way it escalated, did you think it was necessary to escalate to that extent between Damon and Dr. Damon and Dr. Greg?
I think that Dr. Greg, like, he's so immature at times. I swear he is. The way he laughed at Dr. Damien's pain when he said, you're not being authentic, you're not, my character, and that's not how I am. You've been around me long enough to know, I'm a man's man. I'm gonna say what's on my mind. I think for Dr. Greg to kind of sit back and chuckle, that was like immature. Maybe it was a nervous condition, because I know when some people get nervous, they giggle at the wrong time. you know, I got a kid like that. you know, but
Yeah.
as far as
But yeah.
I think the conversation was necessary, especially if Dr. Damon is feeling a certain way, once, Heavenly said what she said, he said, and he finally said, hey, no, it wasn't right that she called you pedophile. No, that was very wrong, you know. But he said what
Yeah.
he would have did, which isn't necessarily the same thing that somebody else would have did, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I think that conversation needed to be had because Greg needed to hear that, yeah, Heavenly was wrong from her husband, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think, yeah, you're right in that aspect. I think that Greg is this personality that is very proud. He's giving off proud. And he wants to hear that this person is wrong. Like, I think he's that kind of person that if he doesn't hear from you that I was wrong, he doesn't let it go.
Yeah, but then at the same
Um,
time, he had to admit that he was wrong for turning away patients. You know, he
yeah,
never explained, hey, look, my schedule is too busy to schedule them in, or they're needing too much more care than I can actually give. He never gave an explanation, so it would have seemed that he was like, hey, I'm not messing with you or your wife right now. So, hey, you take your patients back,
yeah, back, yeah.
you
No,
know.
that part was childish because nobody should be denied health care.
Yeah,
At the end of the
exactly.
day, those people needed help.
Hmm.
Irrelevant of whether you hate who is referring them to you, that part I did not accept. I did not agree with Greg because, like I
Hmm.
said, earlier, he's giving the vibes of he's a very proud person. That if you do not say I am wrong, he will never let it go. He will never let it go. And even if you say I am wrong, Greg doesn't give up the vibe of him saying, okay, yes, I too, I know that I was wrong. He just wants to hear that I am wrong from you, and he's okay. He's good. And he was giving me cocky vibes. The way he was laughing, the way he was like, I understand your pain that Heavenly said those things. I too was kind of so surprised that Heavenly said those things about another human being, right?
Right.
Somebody's husband, right? Surprised that Heavenly said that. And I know there's nobody, if somebody said that about me, I'll be paying too. But doesn't mean that to the extent he went, even including the patient, I feel like I always say, don't allow sometimes like we allow the things people do to us, you know, make us make some other wrong decisions. At the end of the day, you then made a worse decision than the person that said whatever they said or did whatever they did. You get so for me, I'm glad they quashed it, and maybe from now on, maybe if Dr. Damon sends him, patients, he's gonna, take care of them. But did you pick that the men, I don't know whether I'm the only one that noticed it, did you pick that the men are kind of growing tired of Dr. Greg, and or they are seeing him? It looks as if the men have has seen Dr. Greg in a new light. The way he was being cocky and laughing at Dr. Damon. I don't know whether you noticed that.
Yeah, I know that they were getting like really kind of irritated with him. Like, why are
Mm-hmm.
you even doing this? You know,
Yeah.
we're trying to solve things, and here you are like winding the clock back up.
Mm.
You know, so yeah, I caught all that, how they were looking at him like, dude, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are you saying? What's coming out of your mouth? You
Yeah.
know, because
Yeah.
they're really trying to get Greg back in the group,
Yeah.
you know, but they want to implement King as well.
Yeah.
You know, so if Greg is having a problem with King, now you having a problem with Dr. Damon, it's gonna start looking like you're the problem because you're
You're
having
the
a
problem.
problem with everybody
Exactly.
else.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
so
just the truth. Yeah,
yes,
that's just the truth.
yeah, so hopefully, you know, Dr. Greg can be sincere about his apology and, you know, let's get it
Let it go.
together. You know, you
Exactly.
53 years old or 54, however.
I don't know. I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's not like
Old
you're a
men
young
acting like
doctor.
teenagers.
Hmm. And I noticed
Yeah.
when he started laughing, Dr. Damon was upset because I seen him roll his eyes. I've never seen Dr. Damon roll his eyes, but he rolled his eyes then. You know,
Yeah.
like he was really heated. You know, like he said, I don't even curse, but I'm gonna say this curse word. You know, and I
Now,
think it probably takes a lot to get Dr. Damon to the point where he's starting to get angry.
yeah, because he's very calm.
Yeah, he's a
And
gentle giant.
those kind of calm people is like me. I don't get angered easily. But when I get angered, ooh,
Watch out, huh?
even me myself, I fear myself. And that's why I always try not to get angry, because sometimes when I get angry, I act out. Then when I'm calm, I'll not be like, wow, I did all those things. I
Yeah.
did all those things. I said all those things when I was
Hmm.
angry.
Oh yeah.
So I always try not to get myself to that level, because I know that, ooh, it takes God to calm me down sometimes. So I, I always don't want to get there. But let's go ahead and talk about the main thing, Sweet Sea Quad, before we go ahead and wrap it up with Dr. Simon. Now, I already have seen this stuff during the week. I had talked about it during the week. But since we didn't have that chat, both of us, I wanted to hear your opinion about the statement between Quad and Sweetie. Usually, when Quad was talking about the fact of she wanted a provider and whatever, whatever, and Quad was like, "Yeah, I agree with you, Sweetie," but she still added the fact saying that, "But I don't like when a man is trying to talk over you, talk under you, or something like that." And she then kept quiet. I felt like Greg, so not Greg. I felt like Andy was an instigator because she didn't mention any name. But Andy was like, "Do you mean Greg?" Then she said yes. And Sweetie was like, "What is your problem with Greg?" And she was like, "I don't have any problem with Greg." And that was where he started. He like, he just went off from there. Even um Andy was like, "I don't think she cares about Greg," but Sweetie seems to think that Quad cares about Greg a lot. And she went in and they exchanged words. But where I didn't like was where he started getting to the insultive part. And it went on so bad that Quad replied, being like, "Oh, you DM'd that man. You couldn't give him, you said you wanted to give him a baby, and you couldn't give him a baby, blah, 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 blah." Now, I talked about it during the week when the sneak peek came up. And funny enough, I thought a lot of people were going to come at Quad. A lot of people were going to, insult Quad. But I was surprised. I was telling my sister that I was thinking that a lot of people, this sneak peek dropped, I think, on a Thursday or on a Friday. I've forgotten, between Thursday and Friday, that's when it dropped. I thought a lot of people were going to come for Quad, but a lot of people were like, yeah, Sweetie has done too much. And I think she needed to be told. And I'm one of those people that would accept, I will agree that Sweetie has done too much, but I don't think it should have gone to like that. But I feel like there's something of when you push someone in too much, you cannot tell me how I will react to what you're doing. And I know, I've told you every time that every week, Sweetie is always talking about Quad on our
Right.
YouTube channel, including this week.
Mm.
This week's own was even worse. You
Wow.
know, every week she's always talking about Quad. Quad hasn't really talked, in short, Quad hasn't talked about her
Mm.
off the show. The only third person that Quad has talked about was when she went on an interview with Sherry Shepard, or what they call her. She talked about Greg, and because they asked her the question about the upcoming fight between Greg and King, that's why she talked about Greg. So Squad has not really talked about Sweetie. Even yesterday, she came live with Heavenly. People were asking her questions. She replied to what Quad said. She said, "No, that's not what we're gonna do here." She still did not talk about Sweetie, but she said something. She said, "You guys will go online, talk about me. Then when I come online and I say my own, it will not be like an offensive thing." And that's the truth. If you say something about somebody, do not expect like to don't be monitoring the response the person gives to you,
Right.
because the person is going to respond. It's now whether the person decides to go to hell with the person's response. And I think that Sweetie has done too much. She's becoming Heavenly 2.0.
Wow.
She's becoming Heavenly 2.0 when it comes to YouTube. She's shady. She came on YouTube, I think before the episode dropped, like few hours before the episode dropped,
Uh-huh.
she was like, they were talking about the fact that she moved into Quad's house that her and Gregory were living together. And she was like, oh, after all, it's been paid for, which she paid for with her VA benefits. She's not even like, I don't want to even talk about it. She paid for the house with her VA benefits. Then she was like, unlike some people that haven't paid theirs, like Quad. She had Dr. Simone. I was so shocked that Dr. Simone was going to come on her YouTube, because I know that she has also talked about Dr. Simone in a bad light on her YouTube. But they say my enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Right.
She had Dr. Simone on the YouTube, and Dr. Simone was like, yeah, I wonder who's going to help Kwa to pay her mortgage on her house. And I'm like, is she the first person to have a mortgage on her house? Is having a mortgage on the house a crime?
Hmm.
Is it a crime?
Nope.
Has she come to beg you for money? But I feel like Sweetie is doing too much nowadays. A lot of people went in on her after that video dropped. A lot of people went in on her because it's giving obsessiveness. When
Mm.
Squad said, I live in the mansion of Sweetie, yes, she does. Because the amount of time she talks about Quad on her YouTube channel is giving obsessiveness.
Mm.
How does someone become so obsessive with your husband's ex-wife?
Right.
And this person doesn't talk about you. She's trying to build her life with her new partner. She hasn't talked about you. She hasn't tagged you one day on social media, but every day you're talking about her. Every week you're talking about her. And
Mm.
so for me, I don't know what you would say, but for me, knowing the way Sweetie has always talked about Quad on social media, I didn't get pissed off when she said that about Sweetie on the episode, in the reunion. I did not get pissed off. Although I felt like that, I don't like when someone talks about somebody's child, how, a woman trying to, give birth is wrong. But I just felt like at the end of the day, Sweetie has done too much. And Kwa decided that, you know what, I'm going to respond to you face to face, unlike you that go on YouTube and say shit to on the YouTube and I cannot respond. So I'm going to say shit to you on the on face to face. Let's do it. But that's just how I feel. I don't know what you felt about that interaction between Sweetie and Dr. Greg. And so sorry, Sweetie and Quad.
Um, I don't know. I do feel that Quad talks too much about Dr.
Mm-hmm.
G. She does. To me,
Yeah.
it
And
was.
also, Sweetie talks too much about King and says some offensive things about him too.
Mm,
So I don't want to talk about King because King, I don't want to put King in the equation. Sweetie might not do it on the show, but she does it on her YouTube.
mm,
She's talking about King everything. Even that thing she said allegedly that he didn't buy the Rolls Royce for her. She has said it so many times on the show. She was like, "Oh, he cannot afford it." Like I'm like, are you jealous that he bought a Rolls Royce for his girlfriend? She
wow.
has said it so many times. So she talks about King, but she has even said it on an interview with Andy and was like, King doesn't have any business to be talking to Greg. That like she kind of insulted King that King is like a baby that allows Kwa to control him. So she talks about King. So if she might not be talking about him on the show,
Hmm.
but she's talking about him on YouTube.
Mm,
So it's a different thing. Quad is talking about Greg on the show,
right.
but she is talking about the both of them on her YouTube.
Mm. Yeah, that's not cool though. You know, for her to even talk about Greg. You know, like I don't get it. Simply because what's the use? I mean, what are you
Yeah.
righteously getting out of it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see what's there to gain from always mentioning Greg, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that right there kind of just threw me like, what? Why is she being so into Greg? Like, you know, like it's the thing to do,
Yeah.
So I just didn't understand the real reasoning why she felt like it was necessary for her to even talk about Greg, you know?
Mm. Well, at the end of the day, I feel like the both of them, there's no innocent party in this situation. Sweetie and her husband is not innocent. Quad is not innocent.
Oh, of course not.
The both of them are not innocent, and I just feel like at the end of the day. But do you think Sweetie is cut out for this show? Because I think it's changing her. The Sweetie we know in season one has changed. I know change is constant. Change is the only constant thing in life. But do you think this show is kind of changing her mentality and how she views things?
It's a possibility. I mean, I just look at it like this: when you have such a strong personality,
Mm,
meaning um Quad, Quad
yeah,
has a very strong personality. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, she does.
yeah, and when you have a person with that strong of
Personality.
a personality, yeah, it's kind of hard, and especially when Quad was like, look, um, what did Quad tell her? I There's nothing to compare to because
Yeah,
there's
you
no
can't compare
comparison.
where. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, you know, like that wasn't really nice, but hey, it's the way you feel.
That was low. I was like, what?
Yeah,
And I think to be able to have a word exchange with Quad, you have to be strong
yeah,
because she comes heavy.
oh yeah, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, most definitely. But
I,
I, I
mm,
just kind of look at it like Sweet Tea is young. I'm gonna keep saying that she's young. When you're in your 30s, you know, and you're around an older set of women, you try to fit in, you know.
yeah,
But if they're constantly saying little antagonizing shit about you, coming for you every time you turn around, you thinking, oh, this is my friend, and then she got a little joke coming for you, with the, oh, your man is old, and y'all gonna have old babies or whatever,
That's Simone.
Yeah, that's not cool. So,
Yeah.
I just
But
feel
but
like
it, the,
she's in a
but the fact is that now that you said that it's not cool. But now she's being friends with Simone on YouTube just because the both of them hate on Quad. Forgetting that tomorrow again, this same Simone will go ahead and say something awful about her marriage, her man.
mm-hmm,
And a lot of people were telling her when I read to the comments, I did a video and I was reading to the comments. People were like, Simone is using her simply
mm,
because Sweet Tea does not like Quad, and Simone at this moment doesn't like Quad. Of course, they would unite. They are grieving. They are bonding through trauma. You get
right, mm-hmm,
and that's bad because at the end of the day, what that does is that when the person is done using you, they leave.
right,
Then you be like you start looking like a dejected person. Like, where did I go wrong? You went wrong because you decided to trauma bond with somebody. Now the person might be over the trauma. You were not over your own trauma. You are now lost. And a lot of people were telling her that she shouldn't be friends with Simone. Simone is not her friend. She's just using her.
mm,
Well, when I saw Simone on YouTube video, I was shocked for the life of me. I was so shocked. I was like, whoa. And the both of them were kicking, laughing, shading the cast members, talking trash about the other cast members and Shadi Quad and Dr. Heavenly. I was like, somebody now said, if Heavenly goes on YouTube to rant about this and say something awful about you guys, nobody should complain because you guys started it first. And that's the thing.
right,
You started it first now. When Heavenly replies, it's like Heavenly says things awful. You knew that Heavenly is an awful person that says awful things, but you go ahead and say things about her. Then she replies, you then be like, oh, I didn't believe that Heavenly said that about me. Okay, let's keep that same energy. Let's keep the same energy. Let's keep that
right,
same energy. Now, before we go ahead and end right to medicine, let's talk about the big cliffhanger fighting scene between Dr. Simone and Quad. When I say I kind of understood a lot of things during this fight,
mm-hmm,
and I want to say, when did friendship become a duty? When did friendship become something that you have to fight over? I believe friendship is supposed to be freedom. I have to be free with my friend.
right,
And for the life of me, if you found out that a friend of yours, you are putting so much energy and the friend is not putting so much, it's left to you to say, I cannot do this. Let me find my way. Or if you feel comfortable in the kind of relationship you have, you continue. I do not understand where um Dr. Simone is coming from. This, you don't hang out with us when the cameras are over. See, you said it the first season that you complain about this. Okay, it was understanding people were coming for Quad. You said it again the second time. I'm like, okay, now it's like, move on. If Quad doesn't want to hang out with you, I understand. Don't hang out with her too.
right,
Why is it a problem whether Quad want to hang out with you? I'm gonna tell you. And when she said Quad is not a friend of theirs, I would say yes. Quad is not their friend because I know Quad's real friends.
right,
I can tell you Quad's real friends because she hangs out with them a lot. And we
mm,
can see it through her social media. She's friends with Yanda Smith. Sometimes they go on vacation together.
mm,
She's friends with Portia. She's friends with there's this lady. She's not on a reality TV show, but she has this. She's an influencer.
mm,
We see them very well. They organize parties when they have birthdays. They go out together. Those are her friends, and those people are in her age group. That
mm,
how is Dr. Simone always having a problem with Quad? As in, do you know that even when she said that statement, she said, the reason why we hanged out with them is because we didn't see you to hang out with them. And she said something like, it's your karma coming. It's like, karma for what?
Right.
Karma for what? What did Quad do that deserved the karma? That she left Greg? That she deserved divorce Greg? Is she going to be the first person to divorce her husband? Is Greg going to be the first person that divorces his wife?
Hmm.
So when she said that to me, I was like, yeah, and a lot of things is not coming. And I don't think Simone and Sweetie got that. The only reason why Simone is close to Greg and Sweetie is because Quad has refused to become her friend. And the moment Quad decides that, okay, Simone, you will be my friend, Sweetie will be thrown into the gutter.
Mm.
That whole interaction, it's made me understand that the only reason why Simone is chummy chummy with Greg and Sweetie is because Quad has decided not to be close to her, and her and she is a bitter person.
Mm.
And a doctor that sees a lot of patients that you claim you are educated, for you to be so much angered over somebody that doesn't want to be friends with you is giving obsessiveness. You are obsessed.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Basically.
where someone fights. Man, that fight was very annoying, and I did understand Simone. And I swear to God, if I liked Simone before, I dislike her more. Or if I
Mm.
disliked Simone before because I didn't really like her like that, if I disliked Simone before, I dislike her more.
Mm. Wow.
Well, that's what I'm gonna say. So you can go ahead and say what you felt about that fight between Quad and um Simone.
Yeah, I just want to just iterate that, I really wish that they would more act like, if they're not going to get along, then fine, don't get along, but don't at the same time belittle each other. You know, there's no
Yeah.
need for that. And if I'm divorced from you, okay, the marriage didn't work out. You know, I done said all the things that I need to say about how I didn't like you at the end of the marriage, how this shit didn't work out right. I done said it all. So when I see you in person, I don't have anything to say. I still think Quad needs to heal. You know, Dr.
Yeah.
G needs to heal. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and hell, Sweet Tea might need some healing for herself too at this point.
I'm
Because they
telling
got
you.
her mixed up in a bunch of bullshit.
Exactly.
I would be upset with my new husband if you're still having problems with your ex-wife
Mm-hmm.
and you brought me
Exactly.
in the middle of it, and y'all didn't solve this shit before I got here. I'd be upset because I would feel like I'm always the target here.
Mm.
So I just think the three of them need healing.
And Dr. Simone is, siphoning the hate between them to fuel her own self. And it's not fair.
No, it's not.
It's not fair. It's not fair. I'm beginning to see Dr. Simone in a different light. She even jabbed at Heavenly. I was like, on the YouTube that she did with Sweetie, she was like, I have a happy home. I have a husband that loves me. I have a husband that spends time with me so that I will not be on YouTube. Mom, I was like, Mom, you're on YouTube with Sweetie. Does it mean Sweetie being on YouTube every week means her husband doesn't love her? It's giving double standard. Sweetie is
Yeah,
always on YouTube every week, and you are laughing at somebody saying that the reason why Heaven is on YouTube every week is because her husband doesn't love her and the husband doesn't stay with her. That means you too, your husband doesn't love you and your husband doesn't stay with you for you to be on YouTube too every week.
right. I mean that
Well, you are
that
laughing.
was basically unfair thing to say.
Mm-hmm. And Sweetie was laughing. See, I said it in the first season that Sweetie came. I said the way she was trying to choppy with these ladies because everybody doesn't like Quad. I said it's going to come back and bite her in the ass. And I
Mm-hmm.
said it that Simone didn't want Quad to come back this season, but unfortunately, it didn't work out like that.
Mm.
Yeah, because absolutely, if Quad was not in this season, there will be no storyline for Married to Medicine. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
If
true.
Quad didn't come back this season, there was nothing else that would have gone on Married to Medicine. So she needs to thank Quad for keeping their job. Right. And
Sure.
right now, I wouldn't mind for Simone to be exited from the show because she doesn't have any storyline. Exit.
Mhm.
Her and Dr. Jackie. Exit.
Mhm.
Yeah. They have nothing to offer. I don't know why Jackie is even first chair. Why was Jackie first chair? Are they doing it? Is their own by how old you are or what? Because I believe other shows is by what you contributed in the show in the season that makes you first chair. But Jackie every time is always first chair, and this season she absolutely added zero,
Mm.
and she's still first chair. So I feel like no, it's not balanced. If there's anybody that should be first chair, it is Quad and Sweetie.
Right.
Quad and Sweetie should have been first chair, not Simone and Jackie. That's rubbish. Well, we'll get to see the final, the final part in next week's episode. But we got a sneak peek of the. I don't know whether you saw it. Maybe it was another sneak peek. But did you see the part that Greg still sang that song on stage?
Yes. I was like, okay, like I don't want to hear that, but okay, I guess because simply, everybody who comes out with a song on on these reality TV shows, they at least get to sing it and perform it on Andy's show. So that was his moment.
About your ex-wife in front. Did you see everybody was looking at him like, oh no.
Like, why? Yeah, I did.
All of them were embarrassed for him.
Yeah. I laughed when they said, "Hey, maybe you guys ought to make a band." And Damien was like, "Oh, I'm down."
I'm like, I was embarrassed. See, I'm embarrassed for Sweetie for allowing herself to allow her man to do that. Sing about his ex in this one. The last time he sang about how he was in their house, right? This time he's in the presence of the ex.
Yeah.
That if that's not cringy to her, I don't know what would.
Yeah, I mean, I would be upset. I'm not gonna lie. You know, that why do you have to produce a whole song about your ex? I would be kind of upset about
Yeah.
that, you know. So I understand
But
if
she
she
was she
Oh, go ahead.
she was the one cheering him on. She's
Yeah.
his biggest cheerleader.
Oh yeah. Of course she is. But
That's
I
nice.
I would have been a little upset though that my now husband is
Yeah.
singing songs about set me free and all this about his ex. It's like, I'ma set you free. You ain't gotta wait for her. Shit. I'ma do it. I'ma set you free. Shit.
Oh my God. Hmm.
Yeah, because I mean that's like singing your dying love to somebody. Like, I don't want to
As
hear that.
in,
I'm
yeah.
I'm not trying to hear that.
But next
So
week yeah.
go
So
ahead.
next week we're gonna get the final part of the reunion, and we're gonna see King versus Greg. We're gonna see the singing part, which I'm gonna be embarrassed for her. I want to see how that will end, and you know, and how everything is gonna affect those that's probably gonna come back on the show. Let's just see how it's gonna turn out. Let's see how it's gonna turn out. Let's see.
Okay.
Everybody's hoping that Quad gets pregnant. Maybe the story now will be Quad's pregnancy in next season. Some people are very awful, saying that Quad might get pregnant before Sweetie and Grey.
It's a
Oh my,
possibility.
yeah,
It just
it
it,
is. She's already
it
trying, so
yeah, it cracked me up when they were talking about Dr. Greg is getting too old to be trying to
a
have
father.
babies. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're right. You get older and you trying to have these little kids around, your nerves, you're not as patient as you used to be. So if he's going to have a baby, then they need to hurry up, get a surrogate or something. Do something because it seems like um what's her name?
Quad.
Quad. Yeah, it seems like Quad is about to jump on this situation way before he does.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Real Housewives, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning part, we had so many irrelevant part. I didn't get why we had to hear Brittany talk about her family issues. I was not interested. I was neither also interested in Pampered by Posh being in the business meeting. I was not interested in
Right.
that. Yeah. The one thing I kind of picked interest in was when Drew and Ralph were talking outside about their divorce, and he was kind of being like, he doesn't like the headlines that have been coming up, and we're arguing, and she called him a narcissist. She doesn't even know what a narcissist is. How don't you know what a narcissist is? You're calling somebody a narcissist.
Yeah.
Um, but
Especially if you're calling them one.
yeah, but in my opinion, I feel like um Drew and Ralph are the same. The both of them are liars.
Mm.
That's my opinion.
Okay, what do you think that Ralph is lying about, though?
He said,
I said, what do you feel that Ralph is lying about, though?
well, everything about himself. Like he tries to present this front and he's not. The
Mm.
same way Drew is.
Okay.
So I just feel like two of them are the same. And sometimes when you two of you are the same, it doesn't work out. So that's how I feel. The both of them are the same. But one thing I liked in this episode was when Kelly and Kenya had that conversation. I was surprised.
Mm.
Um, I love the conversation between them because I feel like you know, she, to see Kenya being scared of her business, whether it was gonna go well, it was very understandable. It was
Right.
very relatable, and I love that she shared that very vulnerable moment. And I love that Kelly was there with her, someone that also had to build up her business from the ground up. With every business comes with risk. It could fail, it could
True.
it could succeed. Um, and I love that Kelly was there to tell her, you know what, it's your baby. I'm pretty sure you're gonna do everything possible to like make it work, and it's gonna
Hmm.
work. So I loved that conversation, especially when they talked about their divorces, what they were going through in their divorces. So it was great to
Yeah.
have that.
It was also sad to hear Kelly talk about what she's going through with her ex,
Yes,
her
yeah.
soon to be ex husband. Like, goodness gracious, these men, you divorce them, they just cut loose, don't they? They try to destroy you, hurt you,
I'm telling you,
everything. Like, why?
they
You
try
know,
to take you to hell.
yeah, why? I just don't
Don't
get it.
know.
I
Who
just
get
don't
it
get it.
too.
I believe whatever you come into the marriage with, that's what you walk out with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you had nothing but the clothes on your back and you happen to get some more clothes because you was married and she was like hooking you up, then yeah, take your stuff and go. But don't be trying to take my stuff that I already had before you got here. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So yeah, I that part I just didn't really care for.
Yeah. Now, to the main grain of today's episode of Real Housewife, we had Angela celebrating, and she invited the ladies to the bank, and all the ladies came in. And for the life of me, I did not understand Bethany. I mean, I always miss. Is it Bethany or Brittany? That's her
I
name.
I think her name is Brit. They call her Brit, short for Brittany.
Yeah. I don't understand Brit's issues. It's giving enemy of progress. It's giving I just want to fight you, and I'm gonna do everything to make you fight me. Because
Mm,
the hug, when Kenya hugged that, stood the hug. I don't want makeup on you.
right.
So I'm trying to hug you so as not to get makeup on me. And she was
Mm.
like, that's a part, Kenya, that's a part. I'm like, days, be for real.
Hmm.
And from nowhere, you asked the question, and Kenya was like, I can be cordial with everybody. And you wanted to deep more, you wanted to ask more. Nobody did that in that table.
Right.
Imagine all everybody seeing you as a problem. That means you're a problem.
Yeah.
You just went so, as in, I did not understand. And I said, I wanted to know what really happened that pushed Kenya to do what she did. What Kenya did was wrong, but I wanted to know what pushed her. And this lady has literally pushed Kenya. And I heard that so many times Kenya reported to HR, and it seems like she has been trying Kenya for the longest of time, pushing Kenya, saying things. So, like this episode, I was disgusted by that behavior and the fact that she also threatened her with the pew pew. It was, I was like, is that what we're doing now?
Wow. Now, see, I didn't hear her say something about a gun. I did, but I heard Kenya repeat it back to
I had it. She was whispering to Kelly
mhm.
and is it Kelly and Angela?
Yes.
That was when she said it. She said, thankfully, I still have my pew pew
Oh
with
wow.
me.
Oh wow.
I'm like,
Totally
is that what we're doing?
unnecessary. Wow. Yeah, that's totally unnecessary.
Even
Well,
her
no,
husband told her that she was doing too much.
yeah, I heard him tell her to kind of like, you going too far, you know. And I'm like, listen to your husband, you know, listen to your dude, because I
And
felt like she was
yeah,
going too far.
she went too far. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just she was going, she went too far.
Mm-hmm.
She
I
went too far.
agree.
And the fact that when this thing happened, when it was being reported that Kenya exposed her pictures and she was no longer going to be on the show, this lady came outside and because Kenya was like, we were like, she threatened Kenya with the pew pew stuff and everything. This lady came outside and denied it.
Mm,
That she didn't say that. Now everybody's using it for her. Like, imagine you lied and now it's been exposed that you really did say that.
mm. Wow. Well, I wonder what they plan on doing about that then.
Man, Brittany, she's one piece of hell.
Mm,
She's one piece of hell. I do not understand why she was so pissed off. I do not understand. I, you know what? I support Kenya, but I don't like that she released that. But I understand being pushed to the wall. And you saw the trailer. I told you that I thought it was going to be this week. That's the picture she enlarged of Brittany.
mm.
Great. And I feel bad because, oh, wow, that little thing made Kenya lose her job.
Wow.
And
That's
she started it
crazy.
all.
Mm,
Imagine you, man. I feel bad for Kenya because it's like somebody has been beating you up. The one time you decided to beat the person up, the person faints, and everybody's looking at you like you've done one big crime. Everybody tends to forget what the person did to get to that, for you guys to get to that level, and that's life.
Right.
Everybody forgets what led you guys to that moment that tragedy happened. And that's what happened now. I mean, Brit has been pushing and tugging and at Kenya, and it seems like next week she's gonna explode. I just can't wait for that next week's episode to see. I hope but I don't think Bravo will show us what's on the picture.
Mm.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would. Man, it's sad that this is the last time we're gonna see Kenya. Okay,
Yeah,
next
I hate
next week
that.
episode. I I do hate that that's gonna be our last episode. But anyway, I also hope that this is gonna be the last season with Brit.
Yeah, yeah,
I
because
also hope that.
it seems like she does have some underlining issues here.
Exactly. My sister was like, I think that Brit was just projecting her own insecurity on Kenya.
Yeah,
Oh my God. That's awful. But I'm sad that I'm not gonna see Kenya again after next week's episode. I'm really, really sad. I'm really, really sad. But that's life. I guess
yeah.
we'll move on and see how the other ladies fare on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I guess we'll see that. Well, guys, thank you guys for joining us today on another review or recap of Mighty Mighty and also Real Housewives of Atlanta. Will join us same time next week for another recap. If you're not subscribed, please click on the subscribe button down below, subscribe, like, and comment. Your thoughts and opinion on the comment section. See you guys same time next week. Have a nice day, guys.
Bye.
Bye.